As we begin a new year, I am reminded of the importance of growth and change. I have decided to let go of old narratives to make space for new experiences. As I approach 40, I wonder if I will also go through a midlife crisis. But for me, it feels like every year is a crisis. So what is so special about this time? If turning 40 is going to be a transformative era, I want to ensure that I am fully embracing it and leaving behind the person I used to be. So I've been running this YouTube channel for over 10 years now, which is quite a long time. The constant demands of social media and the pressure of work life led me to burnout. I think that it's a common side effect we all face when we do something for too long and lose ourselves in the process. The older I am, I realize that life crisis isn't really a crisis, but more of an awakening into finding newer purpose and meaning. So I decided to do something for myself. I wanted to close out my 30s with something heartfelt and meaningful. My mind, body, and soul were just so exhausted at this time. And I knew that I had to step away from making YouTube my full-time job. Otherwise, nothing will change. As you know, when it comes to quitting or letting go of something, it means uncertainty, and that could be quite scary. It was a very difficult decision to make, but one that I knew was necessary for my well-being. Taking that leap to change is a terrifying experience. I struggled with overwhelming anxiety and doubt every night. But I realized that even if I was hesitant to change, the world around me would continue to evolve. As a parent, I knew I needed to adapt and grow alongside my son as he becomes his own person and explores the world. I understood that change, like growth, is a continuous process, and I was willing to embrace it and learn from it. Rather than fixating on a narrative of the past, why not embrace the potential for creating new ones? This presents a unique chance for me to take a little trip and trust the process.
My car is packed to the fullest, but that is everything and on the top of my hood. And we are ready to go.
So it started with my curiosity towards minimalism. That was what helped me open my eyes to my surrounding and ask questions on what exactly is it that I want and what makes me feel more alive.
Good morning from my car today. So nice and cozy.
Sand is hard to walk in.
I am just feeling so incredible right now. It feels so good to have this time to myself and just go at my own pace. Wow. How cool and beautiful are these rocks? This place just has an amazing, energy to it. It's really nothing on camera. Being here is just, wow, incredible.
Walking and hiking became my therapy. It helped me release whatever heaviness that was kept within me. There was a lot of mixed feelings that time of sadness and liberation. It was as though I was letting go of the person I once held onto, my old self, and I am at the same time becoming this newer version of me. These past couple of years, I kept a lot of it to myself. Although I recorded some special moments, I didn't have the urge to share it. When friends ask me, what's new? I simply just say, not much. But really, I was creating some amazing memories for myself. Life can often look very linear when we're looking through someone else's lens within 10 minutes of an edited video. But we all know deep inside that there is so much more layers to unravel. After a couple of months of solo traveling, I found a tiny home in a small mountain town. I thought this would be a good way for me to try a simpler lifestyle. I kept myself busy that spring and summer. I painted a lot, making up for all the years that I've missed. I decorated the tiny home to my liking, doing all sorts of DIY home projects. I didn't have much in my new tiny space. All I had were my old desk and some stools. But if I needed something, I would just go to my local thrift store and find secondhand items that looked like they have lots of character and a story behind them. I have always enjoyed decorating my space. It's a practice and reflection of what I can manifest in the moment. I like to use my outer experience as reflections of my introspective thoughts and ideas. It's like an exercise and a practice for me to create the change I want to see. Whenever I feel overwhelmed, I express that anxiety through doing and moving. It feels as though I'm being productive when I'm organizing, fixing something, or to make something creative. Having the solitary space is definitely a time of introspection in which I was able to decipher my own expressions into creative projects. The overall process of simplifying, slowing down is very cathartic and a spiritual experience of its own. Within my space and time, I was able to cultivate an environment where I was able to safely recover from all that was emptying me. I buried myself into painting in a very abstract style in which I have never dared to explore before. Abstract art became such a sacred way for me to express and relinquish all the unresolved emotions that were just lingering and holding me down. That spring, I started my first garden. I have always wanted to cultivate my own vegetables. My landlord lent me some gardening supplies and gave me some seeds to help me jumpstart my process. I then propagated some of my own fresh mints, and that summer, I had a full, thriving garden. It is such a gratifying experience to watch the garden bloom over time and to watch the fruits of my labor. Every day that summer, I would go into my garden and find inspiration on what to make for lunch or dinner. I grew up with Vietnamese food in the home, so it was no surprise that spring roll is one of my favorite foods to make. That time was a very special time I created for myself. But the magic slowly faded away. It wasn't always easy, and I don't want to paint a romantic picture of change. Most of the struggle was internal, and the only way I knew how to keep moving forward was to create the change I wanted to feel. Of course, I can just focus on the highlights of my story, but then it wouldn't complete my journey. You see, I started to spend less time outside. My safety concerns grew as I noticed I was being watched from a particular neighbor. It was happening more often than normal. My landlord also started to spray pesticides in the garden, and my once lively outdoor space became less inviting. Even my favorite hiking spot was no longer safe as people started to live in nearby bushes. It's funny how things can change so suddenly, as if they are signs guiding me to a new direction. Looking back, it seems as though I have always been guided on my journey. I have learned to trust the path, even when it's not always clear or easy. And I continue to move forward, always searching for that magic that once drew me. got something to share with you as we're sitting in this beautiful place, this winter wonderland, this land that happens to be mine now. So I just bought a really nice piece of property. This is an exciting project for me. I feel like this is a great way for me to start learning a new skill.